On February 1st last year, I had breakfast at my hotel in Athens after speaking at a conference the night before. Now, with no more obligations, the rest of the day was mine. I explored the ancient city, the Parthenon, and National Museum. Flying home the next day, I said to myself, I love my job. But then a month later, it all changed. My first conference was canceled, and then more and more until everything was gone. I remember thinking, if airlines aren't flying, I can't work. Well, that was my first thought. This pandemic has shown us all a lot about ourselves as leaders. In the early days, I saw three types of people. Leaders who said, let's wait and see what happens. Leaders who did nothing and hoped it would all go away. And leaders, like many of you here tonight at the Business Excellence Awards. Leaders who took a risk, pivoted, and adapted to change. I call these people change-ready leaders. And here are the three top mindsets that make people like us successful. The first mindset is that change-ready leaders expect disruption. It's not that they're pessimists, don't get me wrong, they're actually realists. They believe that life is full of disruptive change, so they're not surprised when it happens. I first learned this mindset after a presentation for NASA, after the cancellation of the Space Shuttle program, and what resulted in 24,000 people losing their jobs. After my presentation, I talked with many of the attendees, but two conversations stand out. The first was with a NASA engineer who lamented about the future. He said, "Mark, I'm a rocket scientist. That's what I do. Now what?" Even though he was a brilliant man, he didn't see any options. The second person was Linda Weatherman, the CEO of the Economic Development Commission. She said to me, "Mark, this is a time of great opportunity. We're going to pivot from a government space program to commercial space companies." And I remember thinking, private space companies? Who's ever heard of such a thing? And yet, as she predicted, 1 year later, on May 25th, 2012, SpaceX sent the first commercial spacecraft to transport goods to the International Space Station, and the industry continues to grow. You see, change-ready leaders expect disruption. Second mindset, change-ready leaders anticipate what will happen in the future based on what they learn in the present. 3 years ago, before the pandemic, I spoke at a conference, a medical conference in New York City. I asked 850 doctors, nurses, and administrators what they thought about the future. I said, raise your hand if you think the future is 100% unpredictable. It looked to me like 99% of the people raised their hands. Then I asked, is there anyone here who can predict the future? One man raised his hand. I recognized him. It was the CEO. After the conference, I went up and I said, "You raised your hand." He said, "Absolutely. It's my job to predict the future." He said, "I watch trends and ask, is this trend here to stay?" Change-ready leaders anticipate the future and learn from the present. The last mindset is that change-ready leaders embrace change. Change readiness is a state of being prepared and willing. If we are prepared but not willing, we're not change ready. If we're willing but not prepared, we also are not ready for what lies ahead. Change-ready leaders embrace change, leaving the past behind and walking boldly into the future. What about you? Are you change-ready? I believe the time is now. Today, the stakes have never been higher. The threats have never been greater. The competition has never been tougher. The pressure to change has never been more important. But I truly believe that the opportunities have never been more profound. Let's seize the day. Let's become change-ready, pivoting quickly ourselves and helping all of our people to change along with us. Make your business your employees, your community greater today, and even greater tomorrow. Thank you very much.